far could he have gone?
Everything Capcom ever created at its finest. At number 1, we're gonna have no choice but to just give it to Resident Evil 4 Remake, which if you haven't played already, it's just a better game than any other in the list and the finest of its series as well. This is a kind of a quick reminder. I mean, Resident Evil 4 of course was gonna be the number 1. The remade VR version of this game, which came out later on, is just another great iteration of the series itself and definitely worth playing if you've got a headset that supports it by your side. Both games remain to this day the best in Capcom's long-time series in every possible scenario.
You're part of Constellation now. Part of our family.
As one of the most negatively received games of 2023, however, Bethesda's space exploration RPG open world game Starfield, which has been a thing since 1997, finally came out a couple months ago and only to just meet negative reception. That is, however, Bethesda itself's fault, probably because it was hyped a bit too much with the marketing of a game that's been in the making for over 25 years. However, it's a remarkable game in physics, but it feels almost like an empty game in story. That's it, Bethesda decided to bring a lot more content and additions for this game.
Human settlements throughout the galaxy could be at risk. We are not stopping. Whatever lies at the end of this road will change humanity forever.
Are you sure this isn't something you can handle yourself? I'm sure.
Moving on to number 3, it's of course the famous Insomniac Games Marvel Spider-Man 2, a game I'd highly recommend you play if you've got a PlayStation 5, even though a lot of critics call this game rather empty and just bigger in map, but a lot shallow in content. I do think that Marvel Spider-Man 2 offered more than you can imagine for story, content, and just mainly stuff to keep you busy and coming back for. Heck of a lot more enjoyable in gameplay, 2 Spider-Man at the same time with some light humor and heavier in every way.
No, I can snap him out of this!
We can fight this together!
A page of text, written with a typewriter. Someone's been watching us.
How do you run from an idea? From a story that lives in your head? I need to escape this nightmare.
It was a long time coming, but we all know it's happening. Alan Wake 2, which actually won the Game of the Year award, definitely hit the spot on all corners on delivering the best possible sequel, delivering a much more engaging story from start to finish, with graphics compromised to the roof, offering super fear-inducing elements and consistently surprising moments. If you're thinking on picking up a decent survival horror game, if your computer can handle this game, Alan Wake 2, it is.
Show me that.
FBI, drop the knife!
You are certain you remember nothing of this place?
Released no more than a week ago, Santa Monica Studios came up with the most insane free DLC ever when they came out with the God of War Ragnarok's Valhalla. Because imagine everything good about the base game itself, Valhalla takes things even one more step further by tying over and making the game partly a roguelike, giving you more than an excuse to just come back for by taking you to new environments, directions, enemies, and even new story elements. Do download and play this one if you're not insane.
Died and been reborn.
Even though I still haven't had the time to give it a shot myself, I just wanted to give an honorable mention over here to Mirage, which is, for those of you who haven't even seen it yet, even though it's a shorter game with a smaller map and nature, it's a somewhat decent suggestion for the newcomers. Not only is it still packed with content, over 100 hours of gameplay, they said, but it has a rather more simplistic plot and straightforward story to keep you engaged along the way.
Embrace the fear. Quiet it. Find a stillness. And let's go. The stage is yours, Spasm.
After 6 years of wait since its previous iteration, Forza Motorsport, or supposedly EA, did actually manage to deliver a decent sequel with better graphics on the nose, better sounds, smoother details and mechanics, and possibly the most impressive multiplayer in its series or in any racing game so far. However, to be realistic, the game is just more of its prequel. It does feel rather repetitive, unless you're joining other players as well along the way. Moving on to number 8, we've got another much awaited game, in fact the most awaited in the list till we had hands on it, of course the Atomic Heart. So well made and so well received, so far developers have released over 2 DLCs and 1 still in the making. It's a first person shooter in the beginning, a horror game almost, and then later on becomes a mix of Bioshock and Doom, with some stuff you probably should avoid if you're under 15. 18? 13, I don't know.
Won't you help me, son?
Lies of P was, for months and possibly years, one of the most anticipated Souls-like games in the making. It's basically Elden Ring with just a bit of our childhood nostalgia, if you were born in the 90s, where Pinocchio decides to just go ham in Belle Epoque. Like, it's one of the few Souls-like games that we came across in the past few years that actually capture the feeling of a Bloodborne-esque or just a Souls-like. Not only does it nail the combat mechanics, but also the world building and everything all around is made with quality.
You stole my sister from me, rotten puppets!
Be careful, clever one.
I call upon you, great wind. Toi no ikonoi, spirit of the wind.
Rated a 9 out of 10 on every single website. At number 10 we have Street Fighter 6. First things first, the new game, as it was also the case with all fighting games ever, the cornerstone and the benchmark for fighting games just the same. Again, on the platform. Street Fighter 6 has been improved tremendously, not just graphics but gameplay, especially the online netcode. My recommendation is no matter what type of games you're keen to, specifically if you're into fighting games, with this one you're gonna get really super addicted to. Ubisoft's much-awaited Avatar Frontiers of Pandora came out a couple weeks back, and despite the controversy, it was legitimately a AAA in quality and much more different than what everybody thought it would be. I mean, almost everybody. Not only it's a modern and much fine-tuned experience compared to Far Cry, because it's a Ubisoft's work, the game is superior in graphics, very cinematic, and a world that you can simply get addicted to with just your freedom of choices. If you've watched the movies and just wanted to be in one of them, because actually the movies were made to feel like a video game at times, this is definitely that experience.
What they do to the land, the RDA, that is death. We did not want war, but they have made us warriors.
A lot to absorb on your first day.
Can't believe I'm here. Professor Weasley has asked that your professors give you instruction outside of the ordinary curriculum.
Hogwarts Legacy, on the other hand, also released on Switch last month, and it's still amongst the top 3 open world games released in the past few years. Built with the use of Unreal Engine, Hogwarts Legacy is alongside the most selling games of the year and one of the most nostalgic games in the recent history. Partly, it's a movie that brings back a lot of memories, quite story driven, and the combat is much better than I personally thought it would be. Definitely one of the best open worlds of all time.
The Hogwarts students.
I have a rare ability to see whispers of ancient magic. Extraordinary. It's a powerful magic that should only be wielded by a select few.
The path we're on is terribly dangerous. But I do not know where it leads. When light fears the shadow, to faith we hold fast. Burn their very souls to ash.
Lords of the Fallen from October this year is available now on PCs in the next generation of consoles, following an original IP that started life over 10 years ago. Most players had a rather negative review about this game so far, but first and foremost, dark fantasy Souls-like, as the developer stated, quite a bit inspired by the Dark Souls considering everything though that it offers. I just want to say, amongst of its qualities or disqualities, the art and visual design of this game is superior than anything else I've seen. recently.
Does your blasphemy know no bounds? Now you've written the darkness, brother. You are in the presence of a god-human. Immortal or not, beg for forgiveness. The gods will feel our blades. Your lives
Wait till the world is mine.
depend on what you do next.
So for these ocean eyes,
Choose wisely.
you should see me in the crowd.
At the almost very end, we've got over here, of course, the much-awaited Blizzard sequel, Diablo 4, one of the lesser praised games this year because of its story, but at the same time, the most praised for its gameplay and loot system. I mean, it has a few bugs here and there, nothing to wrap your head around it, but if you were to compare the other games of its own kind, Diablo 4 is actually superior in almost every way. The graphics, however, were something quite else. It's expensive though, and you might want to think twice.
You should see me in the crowd.
In its unlimited possibilities, I believe in man. In its unwavering position on the top of the evolutionary pyramid. That is why I, wholeheartedly, having knowledge of our spectacular advancements,
And last but not least, from 1.5 months ago, we've got over here the Invincible coming from last year's PC gaming show, in case you missed out. Invincible is one of the biggest science fiction thriller games ever made, to this day. It's a single-player experience offering a somewhat familiar experience to Alien Isolation, except it's just set on Mars and it's built with the use of Unreal Engine 5 as well. The game is over 7 hours in replay, costs you $12, and it's available on PCs and next generation consoles as well.
I don't want to fight anymore.
All right, Yasna. Have it your way. You did everything you could. But even that wasn't enough.